Why do you think toxic masculinity doesn't exist?
It suggests that anything male is toxic because
it's a made-up concept by the social justice warriors to dismantle the concept of gender roles.
Or weak-minded say. I've never heard of this.
So what is toxic masculinity, and who does it affect? My name is Kassem with the Blueprint News Network as we talk about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity has many different definitions. I'll let Senior Megan Carroll talk about what it means.
Well, I think toxic masculinity are the aspects of gender norms for men that lead way to negative effects. Often they result in poor mental health. Like a common example is the pressure put on men to show little to no emotion, which often results in like aggression or mental illnesses.
Carol also talks about the misconceptions that some may have.
When they hear the term toxic masculinity, they think it's calling masculinity in general toxic, and it's not. In fact, a lot of time men will hear the term toxic masculinity and think it's an attack on men. But in reality, it's calling out a lot of things that negatively affect them, like parts of the patriarchy that affect them negatively. Fixing that or calling attention to toxic masculinity would, in the end, be helping them.
Junior Tyler Engel talks about a moment in his life when toxic masculinity has been more visible.
So, one time, well, I don't know what we were exactly talking about. We were talking about, I don't know, like clothes or something. You know, some guys, would call us gay or would call us, they would call us like something like women or something, something like that. It was just kind of like this expectation again that like we couldn't talk about things that didn't have to do with like what other guys wanted to talk about, if that makes sense. Like they wanted to talk about the sport and they wanted to talk about just stuff like, I don't know, like having sex. It's just like when we talk about other stuff that's not necessarily like masculine or male, we get called stuff, and obviously that's like not okay, and like expectation that like men have to like fit into this certain thing, especially like high school boys. So yeah.
Engel also talks about what being a man in sports is like.
Just based on kind of the vibe or environment that is kind of expected of us. As far as being guys, being males that play sports and having a certain level of manliness, I guess you could say, of masculinity, it kind of makes it seem like we have to act a certain way and that we can't say certain things. We kind of have to be men rather than talking about, I don't know, like clothes or something like that.
Toxic masculinity comes in all shapes and sizes, and it affects more people than you think. This has been Kassem with the Blueprint News Network.